Let's talk about continuity. People coming back to see you on an ongoing basis, and if it's actually worth what you're charging people. I'm Dave Matta. I'm the founder of PT Biz, and today we're going to talk about ongoing visits. Not just what to do or how to sell these and all that stuff. We talk about that a lot. This is what we call continuity or recurring services. And this is a really important part of a business, incredibly important part of a practice. And in the physical therapy profession in particular, we're really bad at this, very bad at this. And mostly it's because you never really learned what to do with people after insurance told you that it was time to discharge them. So knowing that, and knowing that it's a big part of our business success long-term, building this recurring volume, we have to take a step back and we have to look at the hurdles you're going to hit when you're trying to build this type of your business up or this portion of the business up. And I recently got a message from one of my favorite clients. This is just an incredibly, positive person that we've had a chance to work with for a few years. And he basically messaged me and asked me if what he was doing with people ongoing was worth $200 an hour, basically, right? Now, he has about 70% of his clients that are just coming back to see him on an ongoing basis. And he's essentially asking that, am I making a meaningful difference, or are they just coming back because they like me? And I thought that this was an interesting question and kind of funny thing to see from the outside, because I remember feeling very similar when I was in clinic and I was seeing people that were coming back to see me for all kinds of things, right? And in fact, early on in my career, I would essentially fire clients. I was like, look, this isn't a maintenance place. We solve real problems. Once we're done with solving your problem, you're out of here, right? You don't need me anymore. I need to save my time to teach people, that need to learn how to take care of themselves, right? I want to empower you to take care of yourself. And that's cool. And I think there's a place for that. And I still strongly believe that people need to take ownership over their own health and wellness. But at the same time, there's a lot of value in what we do on an ongoing basis in a number of different ways that we take for granted. And I'll tell you why. It's because this information that we know, how to deal with injuries, how to help people with, physical goals that they might have, we just assume everybody knows this, right? We think that that's just normal. And I'll give you an example. My training partner, so I have a buddy that I work out with every morning, not in the health and wellness field, none of that. He basically jammed his toe really bad. And so I took a look at it. After we had done training that day, I basically got the joint moving again. I threw some kinesio tape on there and stabilized it with the toe next to it. And he messaged me later and he was like, dude, I don't know what kind of voodoo you just did to my foot, but it doesn't really hurt at all anymore. And I'm not limping walking around to my meetings today. And it took me about 15 minutes. I completely dismissed as just normal. But in actuality, what we do is incredibly valuable, and we just take it for granted. Now, think about people that are coming back to see you on an ongoing basis. Do you think that it is our place to assign value to what other people want to spend their money on, right? Or what they see value in? Do you think it's our place to say, yeah, I don't think that you should do this anymore, and here's why? And I don't think that that's the right lens in which we need to make decisions for other people. Like, people buy all kinds of things. People spend money on all kinds of things. And it depends what they see value in, And there's lots of things that are far less valuable than what we do on an ongoing basis. And in fact, what we do is incredibly valuable. If you really think about it, you're somebody that can help somebody live a more active, pain-free, enjoyable life. What the heck is that worth? Do me a favor. Put a monetary value on the ability to live a longer, healthier, more active life with your loved ones. I'll wait. What do you think that's worth? Like, what would you assign that to? Is that more valuable than a new TV? Is that more valuable than all the supplements that people buy on a monthly basis? Is that more valuable than, a $500 bottle of wine? That's probably more valuable than damn near anything that people actually can help somebody with, because your body's your vehicle in life. And what we dismiss is the fact that people find spending an hour with us incredibly helpful from an accountability standpoint, from a motivation standpoint. Shit, sometimes they want to come in and just have somebody listen to them while you work on their whatever area that gets tight and do manual therapy. And they assign so much value to that they independently want to come back and see you forever. I had a patient that had hurt his back really bad doing like barbell movements. And I got him back to the point where he wasn't, in pain. He was able to move around. And he really wanted to get, back to training. But he was very concerned about lifting again. And we did a bunch of stuff to progress him to the point where he could really exercise and do whatever it is that he wanted to do again. But for some reason, he still wanted to come in. And this was every Monday. He wanted to come in on Mondays and have me go through a warm-up with him. And he just wanted to bench press and do rack pulls with me, assessing that and then basically doing some manual therapy work afterward. And I remember thinking, like, I would never pay somebody $200 an hour, which is what we were charging at the time, $200 an hour to warm me up, watch me do bench press and rack pulls, and then, whatever, do some manual therapy to my back. But I've never had a debilitating injury the way this guy had, where he couldn't walk his dogs. He couldn't help his wife around his house. Like, he couldn't do basically much of anything. And he was really concerned that would happen again. And he wanted to have somebody that he trusted that could help him work through that. And here's the net end result of that, by the way. I saw this guy for well over a year, once a week. And early on, it was obviously we're solving a problem, but a lot of it was we were actually working on health and wellness goals. And we would talk about things that he had questions about from a health and wellness standpoint while he was in the office. So as we're resting and we're talking about what to think about as he's going through his lifts and different warm-ups that we would go through, he's learning new movement patterns. We would talk about food and sleep and stress management, all these other things. And I also referred him to a personal trainer that he wanted to work with on a more regular basis. And by the end of the year and a half that I ended up working with this guy, he was in better shape in his mid-50s than he was in his mid-20s. And the only reason this guy stopped working with me was because I stopped seeing patients. Like, I just left patient care to essentially focus on running the business and helping people in PT biz. And if it wasn't for that, he probably would still want to come back and see me. Now, would I do that? No. But I also know what I'm doing. I understand that. And we assume that because we know it, it's less valuable. How about this? My air conditioner broke. It's hot as shit in Atlanta. My air conditioner broke. The tech that came out had to fix it. It was a couple $100. I don't freaking know the first thing about fixing an air conditioning unit. Do you think that person feels bad about it? Absolutely not. They're just doing their job. My air conditioner works now. I paid them. They're happy for that. And they don't feel bad one bit about coming back, to do maintenance work on these units to make sure that they work. And I see a lot of value in that because I want my house to have not be 95 degrees. So the first thing we have to realize is because we understand something, it doesn't mean that it's not valuable. In fact, you have to look at it from the lens of someone who is coming to you as a patient because they don't know this information. But I tell you this much, somebody being able to use their body in the world is a hell of a lot more important than air conditioning. Not even close. And yet, we feel bad about people working with us ongoing if we don't feel like we're making these world-changing, world-changing progress in whatever it is that they're dealing with. And once you get past that stage, a lot of us don't know what to do with people, or maybe don't know why they want to come back. And again, they come back because they like you. You make them feel better. You make them move better. You hold them accountable. They learn things from you. You help curate the right information for them. Think about how much bullshit is on the internet when it comes to health and wellness. You just being able to curate that for people is huge. And I would tell you there's two main areas that I see people move into continuity or ongoing visit paths that one might fit better for you than the other, or maybe it's a mixture of both, which is kind of what I did. Number one, You're a great manual therapist. Look, people come in, you put your hands on them, it makes them feel better, it makes them move better. Like it makes them more confident with things they're going to do. Sports they're going to do, activities around their house with their family, whatever. Think about how many professions do ongoing work with people and they feel better because of it. Massage therapy, chiropractic, acupuncture, physical therapy, like traditionally we don't do that, but we have a strong skill set. If you're into manual therapy, you're a strong manual therapist and people feel great. I guarantee you have a line out the door of people that want to come back and keep seeing you because of that. That's one path you can take, using your hands to help people feel better. There's just something so profound and important about human touch, and it makes a big, big difference. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is the fact that the second track is you can take the consultant path. And I would kind of consider myself a human body consultant. When people would ask me what I did, it was like, yeah, I'm a physical therapist, but really I'm more of a consultant for the human body. I help people with these things, movement, sleep, nutrition, stress management. And we take those 4 variables and we help them live a high performance, pain-free life. And I would help people with all of those. I would adjust programming. Sometimes I would do their programming. I would overlay things on top of programming maybe they had a coach do. We would actually have them go through movement patterns. We would actually have them train in some cases, like this one patient that I had. Sometimes they would come in and we would talk for 30 minutes, and then I would do some manual therapy work on an area that was feeling tight, or if they'd been in a position for a long period of time because they just got back from a long flight, and we helped them kind of move a little bit better and get moving. And, look, I haven't looked at research in a long time. Okay. I'm not going to be the first person to tell you that this article says this, or whatever. I'm sure you can find plenty of things that are going to point to either the benefits or the lack of benefits for manual therapy. I don't know. But here's what I can tell you. I feel better if somebody gets, their hands on me and does a number of different things, whether it be dry needling or soft tissue work or joint manipulation or mobilization or whatever it is it might be. Plenty of people do. If you are okay with that and the people that you're working with feel good about that, why would you not want to do that? Right? And if you're against it, then cool, then don't do it. Then focus more on the human body consulting side of things, educate people, and you can teach them so much and you can hold them accountable. And accountability people will pay a lot of money for accountability because it's helping them achieve the goals that they have. So when we look at this ongoing visit, the only person that's going to not think it's very valuable, in many cases, is going to be you. And if you don't think it's valuable, because you're looking at it from this biased lens of like, well, how hard could this be? Like, I just fixed this guy's toe. Like, everybody can do this, right? No, people can't fucking do that. That's my point. People don't know what to do if they think they broke their toe. And then they waste their time in the hospital instead of talking to a physical therapist that understands musculoskeletal injuries that they can directly talk to. Boom, problem solved. It's a hell of a lot easier if they have an ongoing relationship with that person that they're using as their consultant, essentially, quarterbacking their health and wellness. That's what I'm talking about. You're undervaluing what you're doing for people because you think everybody knows how to do that. And that's not the case. You have to truly have a deep belief that what you do is valuable because other people will assign value to it, a lot of value to it. But if you don't, then they're not going to want to come and see you. Many of them won't. Some of them are still going to come and see you because they don't actually care what you think. You make them feel better. But if you want your staff, now this is where it gets even harder. If you want your staff to continue to follow a path of not just get them in, discharge. It's traditionally what our profession does. And it is a bitch of a business to run. And it doesn't allow you to build long-term health and wellness relationships with people that make a massive difference in their life over an extended period of time. If you don't believe that, how do you expect your staff to sell that? How do you expect your staff to then have people come back in? And maybe they don't know the skills for that. Great. Most of us are big nerds. This gives us a great opportunity to learn about how to get into these different variables, understand these different things, dip into lifestyle medicine a little bit more, understand other manual therapy techniques that maybe you don't know yet. Like lifelong learning is a real thing. It's a great place to do that. And it forces you to expand your scope, your aperture widens for the skills that you have as a clinician so that you can now focus on helping other people over a much more extended period of time and achieving goals and outcomes that you didn't even know were possible, or they didn't even know were possible. And that's a really cool place to be. And that's the area that I really, really found fantastic when it came to a cash-based practice, was that I could really get to know these people. I could build a lot of trust with them. They would listen to what I had to say. They would make changes in their life. I knew about their friends, their family, their work. I knew all these things. They were trusting enough to tell me when something was bothering them, and we could kind of work through different things and different strategies from a stress management standpoint. All these things are just part of being a freaking human that doesn't know what to do with those. We get a chance to then work on those areas with people and make this massive change in their life in many, many variables that affect their life in a positive or negative way. And that's a really cool place to be. Not only is that a cool place to be, that's a really great place for you to be as a business owner. So if you ever question about, whether you're worth it or not, the only person questioning that it's probably you.